First, Lieutenant Jimmy Cross carried letters from a girl named Martha, a junior at Mount Sebastian College in New Jersey. They were not love letters, but Lieutenant Cross was hoping, so he kept them folded in plastic at the bottom of his rucksack. In the late afternoon, after a day's march, he would dig his foxhole, wash his hands under a canteen, unwrap the letters, hold them with the tips of his fingers, and spend the last hour of light pretending. He would imagine romantic camping trips into the White Mountains in New Hampshire. He would sometimes taste the envelope flaps, knowing her tongue had been there. More than anything, he wanted Martha to love him as he loved her. But the letters were mostly chatty, elusive on the matter of love. She was a virgin. He almost was sure. At dusk, he would carefully return the letters to his rucksack. Slowly, a bit distracted, he would get up and move amongst his men, checking the perimeter. Then at full dark, he would return to his hold and watch the night and wonder if Martha was a virgin. In his wallet, Lieutenant Cross carried 2 photographs of Martha. The first was a Kodak color snapshot signed Love, though he knew better. The second photograph had been clipped from the 1968 Mount Sebastian yearbook.
Man, I really miss Martha. I wonder what she's doing now.
Many soldiers perform common missions called Seek and Destroy. This is where a platoon of soldiers would go into the jungle in search of the enemies and would kill them in their own element. A common day's march for a soldier with a 50-pound backpack on their back was anywhere from 6 to 12 miles.
Damn, this bag's heavy. Oh, your damn shit's in here? Oh, I gotta carry it. How far do we got to go?
Shut the hell up! We have 12 hours to get to the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
How many clicks away is that?
I said shut the hell up!
Kiss my ass.
If you ain't carrying all this stuff that we gotta carry all day, every day, humping this shit around the jungle, this is nothing but bullshit.
We're all carrying stuff.
But I got a 500-pound bag on my back. Screw it! There's one less bullet to carry. Man, what the hell? These things are not fitting into one another. I got my knife, dude. Just one of those knives, dude. Sarge, Lieutenant, are we almost there?
In a little bit. We'll make camp here.
God, we've hiked 12 clicks already today, man. Can't stand this shit any longer.
Quit your complaining and dig your foxhole. We'll make camp here for the night.
Oh, damn, gosh. We need to take a break. Can't carry this shit any longer. It's got stuff in it. Did you reload it? Oh, big call.
The things they carried were largely determined by necessity. Among the necessities or near necessities were P38 can openers, pocket knives, heat tabs, wristwatches, dog tags, mosquito repellent, chewing gum, candy, cigarettes, salt tablets, packets of Kool-Aid, lighters, matches, sewing kits, military payment certificates, sea rations, and 2 or 3 canteens of water. Together, these items weighed between 15 and 20 pounds, depending upon a man's habits or rate of metabolism. Henry Dobson, who was a big man, carried extra rations. He was especially fond of canned peaches and heavy syrup over pancake. Dave Jensen, who practiced field hygiene, carried a toothbrush, dental floss, and several hotel-sized bars of soap he stolen on R&R in Sydney, Australia. Ted Lavender, who was scared, carried tranquilizers until he was shot in the head outside the village of Thon Key in mid-April. By necessity, and because it was SOP, they all carried steel helmets that weighed 5 pounds, including the liner and camouflage cover. They carried the standard fatigue jackets and trousers. Very few carried underwear. On their feet, they carried jungle boots. This weighed 2.1 pounds. Dave Jensen carried 3 pairs of socks and a can of Dr. Scholl's foot powder as a precaution against trench foot. Until he was shot, Ted Lavender carried 6 or 7 ounces of premium dope, which for him was a necessity. Mitchell Sanders, the RTO, carried condoms. Norman Proctor carried a diary. Rat Kiley carried comic books. Kiowa, a devout Baptist, carried an illustrated New Testament that had been presented to him by his father, who taught Sunday school in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. As a hedge against bad times, however, Kiowa also carried his grandmother's distrust of the white man, his grandfather's old hunting hatchet. Necessity detected. Because the land was mined and booby-trapped, it was SOP for each man to carry a steel-centered, nylon-covered flak jacket which weighed 6.7 pounds, but which on a hot day seemed very heavier. Because the nights were cold and because the monsoons were wet, each carried a green plastic poncho that could be used as a raincoat or a ground sheet or a makeshift tent. With the quilted liner, the poncho weighed almost 2 pounds, but it was worth every ounce.